Hey everybody, this video brings us out to a cemetery because today is a happy day, but also kind of a sad day as well. It is Father's Day. Now, it's a happy day because I myself am a proud father of an 8-year-old son who I love very much, and we had a fantastic Father's Day, but it's also kind of a sad day because unfortunately 10 years ago, my father did pass away, and I figured I have to come out here to the cemetery and pay my respects to my father, say hello to him, and again, just pay my respects to my father on Father's Day, who I do miss very, very dearly. I had a great life with him, and I was sad that he unfortunately did pass away at a somewhat young age. That does disturbingly run in the family. I should probably stop eating hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken fingers and pizza and drinking all that soda and actually start exercising a little bit. Otherwise, that unfortunately might end up being me. Again, runs in the family. Not good, but I will do what I can to make sure I live a nice, long, healthy life. But like I said, I do want to come out here and visit my father, David D. Eisenhower. Look at that loving father, buried right here in the cemetery. This is actually a whole bunch of my family's plots. My grandmother, who passed away in 2017. Yes, my grandmother actually outlived my father, unfortunately, but she's buried right here, and there's other members of the family that I'm not 100% familiar with because this is my dad's side of the family, who I never was really all that close to, unfortunately. So I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, my grandfather, my dad's dad, I think. And I know Peggy is his sister. I know that much. I don't know who Richard and Bertie Eisenhower are. I have no idea. I believe Angles are also part of our family as well, on like my grandmother's side or something like that. I'm not entirely 100% sure. Again, wasn't ever really super close to my my dad's side of the family until my father actually passed away, and then I did get really close to my grandmother, who only lived for a couple of years afterwards, unfortunately. But I just figured, again, had to come out here, pay my respects, and also, if we want to get really disturbing, I have my own plot here as well, right next to my father. I actually did buy a cemetery plot here, which my wife and I will be buried in someday. So kind of disturbing to think that, like, right here someday is where I will be buried. Hopefully, again, I will live to a nice old age, bringing you guys videos every single day into my, let's say, I'm gonna go with 90s. I mean, hundreds would be great, but I'll be realistic. Into my 90s. My grandmother lived into her 90s, so why can't I live into my 90s? I mean, if I don't stop eating horrible junk food and not exercising, maybe I won't. But if I do start, maybe I'll live into my 90s. And I'll bring you guys videos every single day. So, again, here at the cemetery, wanted to come out here, pay my respects to my father, who again did sadly pass away 10 years ago. Only a couple months ago, actually, he passed away. 10 years ago is the anniversary of his passing. Did just recently pass. So wanted to come out to the cemetery and, like I said, pay my respects out here. It's actually a really nice cemetery. I never really walked around out here before. There's a mausoleum over there. I've always wanted to have a mausoleum. I always tell my family, like, I should get a mausoleum just to put my collection in. You don't have to nicely display it. I don't care. Just put me in there and then just load the whole thing up with like all my movies. Just pile it up with my movies. They don't have to be nicely displayed. You can turn me into a hoarder officially when I pass away, and just pile the movies up inside the mausoleum with me in there, so I can be buried with all my movies for the rest of my life. Probably won't happen, especially since, like I said, I do already have a cemetery plot, and it's not a cemetery plot that warrants a mausoleum, unfortunately. Can't put a mausoleum there. If you want a mausoleum, you got to be on the outskirts of the cemetery here. But that is really cool. Again, I've always wanted one of those. They're pretty neat. I've seen some old ones of those. When those things get old, they get kind of creepy. I've been to some really old cemeteries that have some really kind of creepy, disturbing mausoleums. It'd be cool to have an old creepy mausoleum someday. Maybe I should just have a mausoleum built that's already looking old and creepy, and then it'd just be cool to begin with. I don't know. It's also a really nice pond out here. I don't know if I ever knew this pond was here. Is this a new pond? It looks new-ish, maybe. I honestly don't remember if this was here. Again, I've been out here multiple times, obviously, for my father and for my grandmother, but I've never really come out here before and just sort of looked around. It's actually a really nice cemetery. I'm digging this place. I could see myself being buried here and living, or not, what do you want to say, being buried here and spending the rest of eternity, I guess we'll say, with my body in the ground right over here. It's a nice area. I mean, I grew up in this area. It's pretty much where I've lived it is where I've lived my entire life. So I guess why not be buried where I've spent the entire rest of my life, and probably will spend, or well, I've spent most of my life, and probably will spend the whole rest of my life. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. Kind of getting tongue-tied. I mean, I am out here visiting my father. It's a little sad. I have other things, bugs flying into my face. I have other things kind of on my mind right now than just filming this video. There's a potential that we might end up moving to Florida someday. It could happen. The wife and I are talking about it. So who knows? Maybe my entire life won't be lived in the same town that I was born in. Maybe someday we'll move to Florida, and then I'll just be buried back where I was born. I don't think I'll be buried in Florida. That'd be cool to be buried in Florida. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll sell my cemetery. No, you know what? No, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Why would I not want to be buried next to my father? No, I'm going to come back here. This is right here is where I'll be buried someday, next to my dad, as it should be, not in Florida. Unless they want to bury me in Walt Disney World, maybe I'll make an exception then. Chop my head off, cryogenically freeze me, and put me under, what is it, Pirates of the Caribbean? Isn't that the old myth for Walt Disney, that he's buried under like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that? That is absolutely 100% a myth. But hey, if they want to put my head under there, I think it's the only way I'm not going to be buried right here someday. Wherever I move, that's where I'll be buried, next to my dad for all eternity, which I'm happy about. I mean, well, not happy about. I mean, I'm not happy thinking about my death and my father's death, but happy to know that when that time unfortunately does come, because it does come for us all, that I will be next to my father right here. Also, my wife will be buried there as well. You can actually bury two people in one plot, just like my grandfather here and my aunt. They're actually buried in one spot. Apparently, you can do a casket and then a cremation, or a cremation and a cremation. Either one. I don't really know. I told my wife that when I pass away, whatever is just the cheapest, go for that. I actually found out some interesting things, because I unfortunately did have to bury my father and bury my grandmother. I was the one in charge of doing both of those, which was a kind of a sad ordeal. But I did find some interesting things out doing that, because the same burial company or whatever, the funeral home, did both of their funerals and both of their burials, and found out that you don't really need a casket and all that fancy stuff. Literally, I think the only thing they said you have to legally have is the tomb, which is the concrete, or vault. I think it's my voice went away. Vault, I think is actually what it's called. It's a concrete vault that your body has to be buried in. I think because of I guess reasons of pollution and stuff like that. I have no idea, but apparently you do have to be buried into a concrete vault. That is something you absolutely have to 100% pay for and be buried in. But after that, apparently you can just be buried in whatever you want. You can your body can literally just be put directly into the vault if you want, and I mean, I'm okay with that. In fact, what I really want to do is build my own not coffin, my own why am I drawing about? No, coffin is what I'm thinking of, not casket. Casket's what I don't want. I want a coffin, the traditional, kind of like diamond-y coffin shape. That is what I want to be buried in. I told my wife I want to build my own, because again, apparently you can do that. And she said, well, go for it, but you got to find a place to put it, because I don't want it to be like in the basement or something like that, where every time I go down there, I see what you're going to be buried in. And I guess that makes sense. I can understand that, but I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to be buried in my own coffin that I built my own self. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just be cremated. Who knows? I told my wife, just make it cheap. I'm dead. I won't care. I don't need a viewing. I don't need any of that stuff. Just stick me in the ground. Everybody come out, pay their respects, and then, I don't know, go out to lunch or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. So anyway, guys, I know it's this video is very, 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 very sad and depressing. I just came out here to kind of just, like I said, to pay my respects to my father, and this turned into just me talking about death and me dying someday, and that I'll be buried there, and what's gonna happen. Anyway, now I'm just getting horribly depressed. So like I said, though, I did come out here to pay my respects to my father. Don't worry, as soon as I'm done filming this video, I will sit here for a little while and just reminisce on the great times that my father and I had. If you do have a dad maybe that you're not getting along with, I recommend trying to patch things up, because honestly, my dad and I got along great when we were little, and then in my teenage years and even into my 20s and 30s, my dad and I didn't necessarily get along super well. We were okay, but we did used to fight a lot. And then maybe a couple years before he passed away, my dad and I did actually start to like bond more. I mean, we never didn't talk or anything like that. We would still always see each other. I'd always come over to the house. I actually used to work with them, so we used to see each other a lot, and we were friendly with each other, and we didn't like dislike each other. My father and I never hated each other or had any anger like that towards each other, but we had different views on things and didn't always get along because of that. But like I said, towards the end of his life, we actually did start to reconcile and hang out more and talk more, and became a lot more cordial with each other. So that was nice, but unfortunately it was short-lived. So that's one thing I can say. If you have a dad that maybe, or a mom, or anybody, relative that you care about very much, that maybe you're not necessarily getting along with all that much, you don't really hang out with, you don't really spend time with, hang out with them. Spend time with them, get to know them, because you never know when they could pass away. Luckily, I got to hang out with my grandmother as well. Like I said, my dad's side of the family, they all lived in like kind of far away, and we didn't really get to know them all that well. We didn't really see my dad's family all that much growing up. But then my grandmother had moved out here, and my dad passed away. I ended up having to be to take care of her. I was her caretaker, and I got to know my grandmother very well as well. So again, getting to know people is a good thing. Just don't wait till it's too late, unfortunately. So all right, guys, that's it. Happy Father's Day. If your dad's still around, go give him a hug for me. Tell him you love him, because you never know when you won't be able to do that again. It is sad. I wish I could give my dad a hug and tell him I love him. I mean, I will tell him I love him, but I wish I could give him a hug as well. Anyway, guys, that is it. So as always, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, check down below for links to Patreon, Spreadshirt, and the Cinema Sickness store. It came from Cinema Sickness. Speaking about Cinema Sickness, check down below for a link to my other channel, Cinema Sickness, where you can pick up all kinds, check down below. Again, brain kind of thinking about other things right now. Check down below for a link to Cinema Sickness, where you can see daily thrifting videos. If you guys are into thrifting, check that out. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to go. I'm going to sit over there, pay my respects to my father, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Happy Father's Day. Bye.